there is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on Sports.
All right, let's make it happen, folks. Game Time Decisions. We are live on SportsGrid as we get set for Monday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles return from Brazil for their home opener against the Atlanta Falcons, who are trying to avoid an 0-2 start to their season. If they do fall to 0-2, they would join the Carolina Panthers at the bottom of that division, and that's where I want to start quickly. We'll have plenty of time to go through the fallout from this Sunday with a loaded slate, but the biggest piece of news came earlier today with the struggles for Bryce Young, second-year quarterback. We are seeing the Panthers make the switch to Andy Dalton. First overall selection. Carolina gives up so much, multiple firsts, multiple seconds, and DJ Moore, the Chicago Bears, to draft Bryce Young. They jumped up to 1, and behind Bryce goes C.J. Stroud, who has top 3 odds to win league MVP after 2 weeks of football. That just adds salt to the wound. But for Carolina, it's the fact that Bryce looks worse year over year. People thought with just regular development, added weapons, and a brand new head coach / play caller, this would get better. And it has only gotten worse. We will talk about this as we continue our show here tonight on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh with you. We'll be joined by Joe Lisi, get his take on everything that we saw from Bryce Young in Carolina, plus the college game as well. Somewhat of a quiet weekend it ended up being, but it almost was a huge weekend. Had Kentucky pulled off that upset to Georgia. Didn't stop us from getting a new number 1 in the AP poll, though. Texas and Arch Manning now sit atop the AP poll. We'll get to it all here, but let's rip it now with Monday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles, a 5.5-point favorite, total listed at 45.5. And for the Philadelphia Eagles, they are without A.J. Brown in this game. We know that A.J. Brown is one of the best wide receivers in the league. And for Philadelphia, they are not accustomed to not having A.J. Brown out there. In fact, A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith have been as healthy as any wide receiver duo in this league. Forget how good they've been. Those two are consistently out there for the Birds, which makes this a unique spot. Makes it trickier for betting purposes, from props to, of course, trying to get involved with the spread or even the total. As we stand here right now, when we've entered our primetime games, I've bet either the side or the total. In this game so far, I've just placed my wagers on player props and some yardage numbers as well as a touchdown score. I lean towards the Philadelphia Eagles. If you don't know, I am way in on the Birds this season. I bet them to win the Super Bowl. I think they have a chance to be the best in the league. But I don't know if I need to bet them at 5.5 with the fact that they are coming from Brazil, with the fact that they're missing A.J. Brown, with the fact that the Falcons will be desperate. The number feels right. I am leaning towards this over, though. Falcons are going to have to be aggressive moving that football, and I think we could see points in this game. I do trust the Eagles' offense enough without A.J. Brown. Let's get to the odds outlook for these teams and start off with Atlanta, who currently now sit favorites to win the NFC South as the third option at plus 280. Plus money to make the playoffs now at Atlanta, 17-1 to win a conference, 40-1 to win a Super Bowl. Here's the story on the Atlanta Falcons. As far as the big picture futures, Super Bowl conference, I couldn't believe people were even considering them. How could we possibly get to the window on Kirk Cousins at the prices that were being offered preseason? I know everybody, Kirk Cousins, top 12 quarterback, look at the numbers. I know the numbers. We see the numbers. You can bet on props if you'd like. You can bet on some season-long statistics. I got all that. But Kirk Cousins has one playoff win in his career, and it is a Monday night. You guys know the numbers, right? Atrocious against the number, as well as straight up in prime time, specifically on Monday nights. It's been bad. So people were betting Kirk at these very short numbers. Now, if you bet them to win the conference, you were banking on a high floor with Atlanta and the rest of the division, not conference, the division being terrible. Well, through 2 weeks of football, all of a sudden the Saints and the Bucs look like two of the best teams in the entire league. Through 2 weeks of football, Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield lead the NFL in passer rating. The Falcons are up against it because not only is this team staring down the barrel of 0-2, next week they play Kansas City. If they're staring down the barrel of 0-3, it could very well be curtains, which will bring up a whole lot of questions for Atlanta. For the Philadelphia Eagles, much different. They were the benefactors of one of those NFC South upsets. Dallas going down to New Orleans shifted Philly to nearly minus 200 to win that division. That result now with the Birds as favorites, could see them take that one-game lead, but also I think the book's saying, what does this mean for Dallas? Are Dallas frauds? Do they not have enough offensively? Dak all of a sudden turning it over way too much in that football game. And is that defense going to actually miss Dan Quinn during this season? Miss Deron Bland, their second corner, last year's Mr. Pick Six. It shifts these Eagles numbers up. Huge number to make the postseason for the Philadelphia Eagles. Plus 450 to win that NFC. The Super Bowl number that I bet, 14-1, is on the move. There are big picture items I want to get into with Philly today as well. But let's get to the props here and compare your quarterbacks right off the bat. Kirk Cousins and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts tonight, you see all of the yardage numbers. I'm betting him to score his anytime touchdown. Plus 105. Last week, I was really interested to see how the touchdowns would kind of break out between Hurts and Saquon Barkley. Well, the ball got on to the 2-yard line, and the Philadelphia Eagles had a chance to get Saquon a third rushing touchdown, fourth in the game. And instead it was tush-push time. Now, the tush-push was a nightmare in week 1. Completely lost its effectiveness all of a sudden without Jason Kelce. I have a feeling that the Eagles probably practiced the tush-push more than they should have this week. I don't think this team wants that play out of their game plan, and I still believe anything 2 yards and in, you're getting a tush-push. Jalen Hurts last year was one of the highest anytime touchdown scorer prices on a week-to-week basis. At a plus money price, I'm buying Hurts anytime touchdown. On Kirk Cousins, you have passing props now 224.5, passing touchdowns plus money that over 1.5 here, minus 160 to throw a pick, which in some degree could be encouraging because it means Kirk is pushing the ball down the field, and that's what I'm looking for tonight. Of all the action on the card tonight, Kirk Cousins over 224.5 passing yards would be my favorite because this is a bounce back spot. Kirk Cousins last week throws for well under 200 yards. We look through the last 3 seasons of play, and when Kirk Cousins is coming off of a game of throwing for under 200, he is 7-1 over a would-be number of 224.5. And you might say, different offenses, different systems. I mean, what's he even hitting that by? Coming off of a game of less than 200 yards, Kirk Cousins averages over 300 passing yards per game in the follow-up. Different system be damned. That kind of step-up cannot be ignored. Give me Kirk Cousins over 224.5 passing. Superstar backs in this game tonight, Saquon Barkley and Bijan Robinson. Saquon Barkley is the new Offensive Player of the Year favorite. We'll see what he has for an encore. Bijan Robinson gets the distinction of being the highest-graded running back by Pro Football Focus after 1 week. I think a lot of people will be looking for these Bijan props. I'll prefer to bet them live and watch this game script here. The wide receiver rooms, well, it's really a wide receiver and a tight end for these two teams. Devonta Smith over 71.5 is on my card. I'll explain that in a little bit, but it's not the only wide receiver I decided to bet. We slap a boost on Jahan Dotson, 70+. That number is all of a sudden checking in at nearly 13-1. What if the Philadelphia Eagles get their newly acquired wide receiver, the football, loads in this game? Give me Jahan Dotson as a long shot for tonight's game at plus 1270 to get some juice, 70+ yards. We'll go through the full card for you. We're live with you right here on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, let's settle in. All right, Game Time Decisions. We got a couple to make, and we might make even a few extra as we get closer to game time here. Jahan Dotson is what I was leaving off with. I want to just kind of get this a little bit cleaner to you guys. There are always odds boosts out there, and I know a lot of you like to use them, so I don't mind letting you guys know certainly where I'm going to use mine. And I'm throwing it on Jahan Dotson. I want to chase a ceiling with Dotson in this football game with A.J. Brown out. And 70-plus receiving yards was listed at plus 850. Threw one of those profit boosts on it, got up to plus 1275. For 70-plus receiving yards for Dotson, I think that's worth the play. If you take a look at this game here tonight, without A.J. Brown, it is very tough to tell how this Eagles offense is going to look tonight. 18 of the 34 targets last week, of 29 targets, because there were some throwaways, 18 of 29 targets went to Brown and Smith last week. And both of those guys cleared 80 yards. A.J. Brown had the huge touchdown, went for 119 in the game, and then Devonta Smith had 84 yards. And Jahan Dotson should be wide receiver, too. A lot of people are betting Dallas Goedert tonight. Don't mind that at all. Threw him in like a touchdown parlay myself. But I think it's very real that Dotson, who is a year 3 wide receiver, who was really good his rookie season, struggled in year 2 with the Eric Bieniemy system in Washington, could be a real player for Philly. Now, he didn't have a great workload in week number 1. Just one target, wasn't able to reel it in. That's why I wanted to chase a ceiling. Instead of playing him over 2.5 receptions or 27.5 yards, all reasonable looks if you're betting them, I went for 70-plus yards. But what I realized with the Dotson stuff, and again, like I'm chasing the ceiling, but I didn't want to bet his straight numbers. I didn't want to bet Goddard's straight numbers. Saquon Barkley, receiving. I left those alone. Sometimes the right answer is the obvious answer. Give me Devonta Smith over 72.5 receiving yards in this game. Last week, 7 catches, led the team, 84 yards. Devonta Smith should tonight see double-digit targets. And if that happens, how is he not getting through this type of number when Devonta Smith usually doesn't even see that type of workload? If you look to last season, in games where Devonta Smith had 8 or more targets, which is, again, what he had last week with A.J. Brown in the lineup, playoffs included, he had over 72.5 yards in 6 of the 8 games. And, again, he might tonight get a career high in targets. It's absolutely on the board. I'm keeping this simple, and I'm attacking Devonta Smith here tonight over 71.5 receiving yards. I mentioned Kirk Cousins, and I mentioned, of course, the Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown already. That's where my card is at the moment. I think I'm going to get to this over. This has been a dropping total. It's possible that we're just right back to prime time totals just dying a death. We've seen it now Thursday night and Sunday night where first half overs cash for bettors, and then these games are absolutely awful moving forward. If you look on Thursday, in the first half of that football game, you had 34 points scored in the first half. In the first half of last night's football game, you had a total points there, 16. You had 26 points scored in that first half, right? So between that 34, 26, you had 60 points scored in the first half of the last 2 games on primetime. And in the second half, you've had 13 points scored. Primetime under trends are real. See, this is kind of, this always happens where people go, these one game has nothing to do with the next, or, yes, listen, that's how trends come to be. If one game has nothing to do with the next, then why are there millions of betting trends that people like to get involved with and follow? I mean, if you're not a trend better whatsoever, if you ignore them all, that's fine. That could certainly be your prerogative there, right? But we know how those things build, right? And I wonder if the primetime unders perhaps are shifting our number a little bit lower tonight. Because outside of the A.J. Brown injury, there's not much else reason for this number to be dropping the way that it is. The overs actually went 3-0 in primetime in week number 1 as well. Speaking of what does one game have to do with the next, right? How does one result that has nothing to do with, how does Lions-Bucks, how does Saints-Cowboys impact this game? Realistically, right, it doesn't impact it from in a literal sense, right? I don't think the Eagles see Dallas lose and get more focused or less focused. I don't think the Falcons watch Tampa Bay pull off the upset and get more encouraged or less encouraged. I don't think that's how those things play out. But a statistic, as of yesterday, through 2 weeks, dogs of 6 or more are 8-0 against the spread, which is crazy. right? I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. Now, I know Atlanta is now checking in at 5.5. Earlier in the week, 6.5 and 6s were certainly out there. But to me, it's the law of averages, which is a very real thing. Are we going to see dogs of this range just be easy winners all season, specifically all week? If you look at yesterday, right? Saints, outright. Bucks, outright. Vikings were not of that range, but they were a dog, outright. They get the job done. Raiders, huge dog, outright. Cincinnati should have won that football game. They didn't, right? But they covered the number. The Bears ended up getting a cover last night if you grab 6.5. Sixes were pushes. Not many 5.5s really in that market. Not really. So, as we've gotten closer to this game, I've said to myself, I actually do think that Philly can roll Atlanta, but I'm stepping back. Because one thing for myself this week, I've noticed, has been there's been too much noise on certain games. Yesterday, I bet 3 sides, and I won all 3 of them, happy as can be. But if you made me put money down on every side, I might have had a bad day, right? All week long, I would have told you Vikings cover the number against the Niners, Raider covers the numbers against the Ravens. And I had so much time to think about the games, all of a sudden I said, you know what, Sam Darnold, too much respect, Niners roll. They lose outright. I would have told you Raiders against the Ravens. You know what, Antonio Pierce is a bad coach, Harbaugh's a good coach, Ravens should roll that team. All of a sudden, Raiders went outright. So when it comes to sides in this league, and I know with prime time, pick your spots. We get loads of game every week. This is a game tonight where I don't need to be involved with the side. I might get involved with that total, though. That dropping number, I think Atlanta offensively has to be ultra aggressive in this game, and I think the Eagles want to be ultra aggressive this season. It's the one ad I might look to make here pre-game. Let's get some big picture fallout. We got Joe Lisi around the corner. It's Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready? Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Live with you right here on SportsGrid. It's Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh with you. We've got Joe Lisi coming right up. We're going to get into some good stuff. I want to get his thoughts on the benching of Bryce Young. And I want to get his thoughts on the Rookie of the Year market as well. Because Caleb Williams, that number's dropping. Jaden Daniels, that number's climbing. What about those wide receivers? We'll get there. I want to talk about the NFC outright market. We're 2 weeks in. You never want to wildly overreact. But what we saw yesterday were 3 of the 4 big dogs go down. The 4th is the Eagles. They play tonight. The Niners lose outright in Minnesota. The Lions lose at home to Tampa Bay. And Dallas loses at home to New Orleans. So the first simple thing is, if Philadelphia wins tonight, that number should shorten. Now, at 2-0 versus 1-1, which is what the other 3 teams are, the Eagles don't have to become favorites. I personally would have the Eagles as favorites. I'm betting them to win the Super Bowl. You know I'm in on the Eagles this year, okay? We don't have to do that every single time. I think the number will shift, though, because at the end of the day, it's a game. You would be a week away from a result flipping, and all of a sudden, you have yourselves dealing with, oh, we moved the Eagles too much. But what I think is very interesting about the 3 losses for the Niners, the Lions, and the Dallas Cowboys is eyeing them up and trying to figure out who no-showed, right? And who is giving us big reason for concern. And interestingly, I think you can make debates for all of them under different guidelines. For the Niners, right, you look at the statistics of it all. Brock Purdy averaged 8.9 yards per pass attempt. Jordan Mason had 100 yards on the ground and 20 catches. They only scored 17 points. You know, how did this look this bad, right? Well, they had a blocked punt, 2 turnovers on down, an interception that immediately handed a touchdown to Minnesota, and they were held to field goals. That team just left a lot of opportunities out there, San Francisco. But it's also on the board that the noise could start to impact the Niners. They're without McCaffrey. Don't hold your breath waiting for him to come back. CMC, I don't expect until November at this point with the way things are going. And even then, he's not going to be full bore. What I think the reality is for San Francisco, with already having McCaffrey out, you're an injury away from significantly downgrading where they are. Trent Williams, Debo, Ayuk, Purdy's a different thing. That's the quarterback. So for San Francisco, right, you lose to Minnesota. I mentioned week 1. Despite it being the Giants, that Vikings win was super impressive, and I would have shifted power ratings on them certainly heading into that football game over 1 week. Now, over 2 weeks, that's consensus. For the Niners, it's 1 loss. Look at the next 3 games. At the Rams, in disarray, hosting New England, hosting Arizona. If that isn't 4-1, it would confirm these are not last year's Niners. And that is really the big thing for San Francisco. But I don't think we're looking at San Fran and saying, oh, come on, they're not making the playoffs. I don't think that's where we are at with the Niners. But again, I think the big concern is they're an injury away from a big drop-off. For Detroit, it's an odd one. There are some, in the box score, you could probably tell yourself the Lions should have won this game. They doubled up Tampa Bay in yardage. They had some tough blunders, right, at halftime specifically, not being able to get points on the board. And it put them in a touchdown or bust situation with the football where had they needed a field goal, they could have been able to get it. So from that end of it for Detroit, right, you sit there and you'd say to yourself, okay, this should have been much better. However, through my eyes, they were very lucky to get out of there with the win in week number 1 against the Rams, and they were home. And week 2, they lose. And in week 2, Jared Goff was terrible. No touchdowns, 2 picks, 5.5 yards per attempt. 307, very misleading. He threw the ball 55 times. Through 2 games, Jared Goff has been bad. A QBR of 37.1, 1 touchdown and 3 picks. That is the thing for me now that what are we keeping an eye on? Is Jared Goff fade material again? Have the Lions' numbers been too kind, and all of a sudden now Goff's concerning? Next week in Arizona, that's a bad defense. That's a big find-out spot. And then you get to Dallas. And the reality on Dallas is it's a teeter-totter. And at any moment, it feels like it can fall off the table. It feels like at any moment, this thing from Dallas can come crashing down. And losing 44-19 in your building is a huge cause for concern. But the answer for Dallas, unlike these other 2 teams, on who they are may come next week. Game of the week at home. They host an 0-2 Baltimore. Cannot wait. Joe Lisi on deck.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Game Time Decisions, we could be up against it tonight, I got to tell you, folks. But luckily, I got Joe Lisi by my side, which means we'll be able to make it work here. Joe, we got a great game tonight. Eagles-Falcons, you and I will get there. We'll put some picks on the board for people. But I have to get to Carolina with you. And Bryce Young, man, Joe, you know, it's funny. I don't actually remember where you were on Bryce as far as a prospect goes coming out. I was so in on Bryce Young, so much so that I still kind of don't believe he's done realistically. The Panthers deciding to bench him is a stunner because of what they invested into this kid. Andy Dalton gets the job. Move that aside. The decision to bench Bryce Young and what you think this means for his future.
Well, let me just say, I'll go on record. I was high on Bryce Young coming out of Alabama as well. I thought he was deserving of the number one overall pick. I thought he showed that in big matchups in Tennessee, completed well over 65% of his passes, 80 touchdowns, only 13 interceptions in his career. He threw for 8,000 yards, Kev. I mean, that was something to really build off of in terms of his NFL career. And I thought that Frank Reich and that offensive staff really handcuffed him. They were trying to force the square peg into the round hole, right? Never built a game plan around him. But I thought this year with Dave Canales, things would be different. What do we see? 55% completion percentage, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, less than 5 yards per pass. How could that happen in this type of offense? Baker Mayfield was one of the hottest quarterbacks down the stretch last year, averaged 272 passing yards per game. Dave Canales was the main engineer of that offensive philosophy. Bryce Young right now looks like a deer in the headlights, looks not confident, not poised. Whether they ship him on to another team or whether they try and reset him, that is the biggest question. I think he needs to take time off, and we'll see if he can learn from Andy Dalton.
My thing with Bryce Young is he is maybe now the best example we've ever seen of stop starting rookie quarterbacks in year number one, because it's just – and that's really a big picture thing, Joe, but benching these quarterbacks has worked out for the most part.
I'm not telling you that is an automatic gateway in order to having a star, but one of the things that I notice in a lot of people who've been diving into film and following Bryce is that he looks uncomfortable. And I do think there are times where you can break a guy's confidence. And last year couldn't have been worse. And I don't even want to do this kind of in a mean, chest out way, but there were people who convinced themselves that this Carolina team was going to be last year's Texans, and they were forcing it. This roster is not that much better. Dave Canales, again, we're anointing him. I'm not so sure about all that. And, we look at that wide receiver room, Joe. Deontay Johnson was the number 2 on a Pittsburgh offense and never moved the ball. Adam Thielen is 35 years old. Come on, what are we doing here? And Xavier Legette, I mean, come on. He was, again, like, what are we doing? Like, this is what they paid Miles Sanders. He's not even the first or second running back on this roster. Like, it is mind-blowing that people were buying into this situation and being glorious. And I'm not trying to say that Bryce Young doesn't take the blame. It's mostly on him. But this is still one of the absolute worst situations in the league.
It is. You're right. And again, the weapons around him aren't there in regards to, elite. No Jamar Chase, no Justin Jefferson, certainly no Nico Collins or Stephon Diggs, if we're talking like C.J. Stroud and those weapons that he's dealing with. But here's the thing, though, Kev. He did work off of shotgun a lot in regards to Alabama and Nick Saban's offense, right? Mm-hmm. They ran it. They had Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Dual threat, can run it, can catch it. Jahmyr Gibbs and that offense averaged 199 rushing yards per game when Bryce Young was there.
Yeah.
You got to try and get him into some sort of confidence, right?
Yep.
Why don't they utilize up-tempo, 2-minute type of attack? Get him involved where he could see the field clearly. That's the main concern that I have for Bryce Young. He's not seeing the field clearly. He doesn't know where he wants to go with the football. He can't locate the wide-open wide receiver downfield. Everything is a check down, and that's why you're seeing the yards per play, 5 yards or less. He was at 4 yards per pass attempt yesterday. It needs to be better. You have no threat of a lethal passing attack. If you want to run the football, you need to run off those secondary linebackers and the front seven. They're not doing that.
Are you going to bet on this team now that Andy Dalton is in at quarterback?
No, I might buy in from an over perspective because I'm not sold on Andy Dalton. I'm not.
Because I'm not sold on the situation.
No, me neither. But I might buy into the over type of situation in regards to backing this team total-wise.
Yeah.
Because, again, at least Andy Dalton can understand Dave Canales' scheme, right?
Yep.
And maybe you could get 17 to 20 points out of this team big picture. Where are they headed? I think they're headed for 5 or 6 wins, potentially. And that's that was their win total, 5.5, 6.
So this is, now there's an update that Deebo Samuel's going to miss time. The league's dropping like flies.
Wow.
People should race the Rams. We'll get there. Rams 7.5 next week, though. I'd bet you're on it. I know I will be too.
Yeah.
I mentioned that Miami needs to make a phone call.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know what the future holds for Tua. None of us do. That's the reality of it. Okay. None of us know when this guy's coming back, and I think it's one of those situations. For one thing, I've been happy about is I have not seen people kind of flying off the handle with the Tua stuff. Everybody is just like, we hope he's okay, right? And that's exactly what that needs to be. If he's back, I hope it's under the best circumstances. And if he steps away from that game, I wish him nothing but the best, truly. But I think because of that up-in-the-air situation, Miami has to bring in at minimum competition for Skylar Thompson. Now, Bryce Young, I don't know what the price tag would be, but you change that scenario, Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, I would buy in. I would buy in that kid in that situation could all of a sudden start to have some success. I'd rather Bryce Young as my quarterback in Miami than Skylar Thompson.
I agree with you 100%. Now, I did see a report where they signed Tyler Huntley today in regards to that. So there's a veteran quarterback that I think gives them a better opportunity to win matchups than Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson's not the answer. He's a mobile guy, and maybe in terms of the RPO, but in terms of the passing game, inconsistent and not going to win matchups. Certainly not against the Buffalo Bills and the better teams in the AFC. So big picture, you're right. Now, Bryce Young, I always say, when we talk about Mike McDaniel, being able to cultivate young talent, that's what he can do in terms of the offensive side of the football, right? He did it with Tua. Maybe you make that call. I have no problem with that. Is he the long-term solution? Only time will tell.
Are you trading him if you're Carolina? Like, what would you need to get back if you're Carolina to get rid of him?
Before Carolina does that, if I'm Carolina, I make Bryce Young sit 2 or 3 games. Right, and then maybe mid-season, game 8, game 9, I start him and see what we have.
So for me, it's funny. I'm saying Miami should call him because I think they might be willing to get rid of him. They're making crazy decisions in Carolina anyway. Benching him is a kind of a weird one. You benched him. I'm not sure I'd put him back out there.
No?
Last 2-3 weeks, because this is my biggest thing with Carolina. I am not drafting a quarterback next year. And nobody will agree with me. I know this now. At some point, maybe I'll win you over. You're like my only hope. I know this. No, I'm serious. I already know that this is one of these things. Everyone is going to tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I know I am right. Shador Sanders, Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milroe, Garrett Nussmeier. I don't care who your favorite quarterback is in the college game. Don't put him in this situation. Offensive line, no blue chips. Wide receiver room, no blue chips. The best running back in that room is on PUP right now with torn up knee in Jonathan. There is zero blue chip talent on that offensive side of the ball. And by the way, Baker Mayfield, you made me give out MVP. I think I'd give it to Baker Mayfield through 2 weeks. So don't tell me Dave Canales is the best coach in this division or any of that nonsense.
Well, I didn't say he's the best coach of the division. I just said it was an upgrade from where Frank Reich was.
We don't even know that, though, now.
We don't know.
Because Bryce Young looks worse.
But that is why. I mean, maybe it's an attention getter for Dave Canales. He wants to send a message. Bryce Young looks clueless. He looks like a deer in the headlights.
I agree with that. But again, if this team takes quarterback, cycle. It'll be that team needs to be looking at SEC tackles and SEC edge rushers. Learn them. Will Campbell, Embry Jones, Kelvin Banks, James Pierce. I don't care. Mikey Williams. Get them all in that room. Don't talk to a quarterback in Carolina. We'll talk some college next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Game time decisions. Absolutely love having you here with us on Sports Grid. Let's quickly just dial in live numbers right now. Seeing 5.5s everywhere and 45.5s everywhere. Monday Night Football, Eagles, Falcons. Joe, are you early invested? I know always props. We'll get to those on the board for people. Side or total for tonight's game?
I'm on the under. I can't buy into the over, Kev, because, again, how is Atlanta going to win this game? We want to hope that Kirk Cousins could open it up with the passing attack. But, again, 155 yards week one against Pittsburgh. Was that more Pittsburgh's defense, or was that more on Kirk Cousins still not being 100% and being able to push off? I think that's a bigger question that I need to see answered. And from an in-game perspective, I'll play it under to start. And then if he's on fire, then I'll adjust. But I can't buy in. I honestly believe the Achilles surgery could affect him big picture. And I'm not sold this is the same quarterback pre-injury that we saw knock off the 49ers last year.
So I wonder if they had immediate buyer's remorse on Cousins and said, you know what, we are not going to be bad this year, and we're drafting Penix. And I wonder if they're willing to bench Kirk Cousins for Michael Penix Jr. That's what I wonder.
Right.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Let's go to the college game. We have a new number one from the AP poll. We don't have a new favorite, though, to win the national championship.
Okay.
We do have new favorites to win the Heisman Trophy because the favorite going into last week was Quinn Ewers, and he got injured. And then Arch Manning came in, and he looked so good that Texas is now the new number one in the AP poll. It's a lot. Where are you on Texas with Arch Manning and this team now as the new number one in the AP poll? And Arch Manning with huge Heisman numbers all of a sudden.
Absolutely. I will say, from what I've seen so far, through 3 weeks of the regular season, 4 weeks, including week 0, Texas is deserving of being the number one team in the nation. The reason why I say that is they dominated Colorado State. They went out and they dominated Michigan in their house, right? Broke a 23-game winning streak. They're doing it with offense. Quinn Ewers, up until that game on Saturday, was hitting on all cylinders. Isaiah Bond. And the defense, that was the biggest concern, right? They held opposing offenses to 82 rushing yards and 2.8 yards per rush last year. And we're like, I need to see it before I believe it. Well, they stuffed Michigan, made them completely one-dimensional. Now we'll see their offense with Alex Orji this week and if they could step up against USC. But when you see Georgia on life support in Lexington, and we talked about that in regards to college football today, how they had struggled in 4 previous meetings go into Lexington, you win it 13-12. Yeah, I have no problem putting Texas first. They're going to have a situation because we know that the hype that Quinn Ewers came with, and we know about the hype in Arch Manning. They're already saying Arch Manning, fastest player in the world. He's faster than Tyreek Hill. 20.7 miles an hour in Tyreek. I'll bet on it right now. Tyreek smokes him. Any race. Can we get this race?
No.
Come on. There's no way Arch Manning is faster than Tyreek Hill. No way.
Yeah, the top speed stuff was all a little silly. So...
you know where you're going.
This Arch Manning stuff's it's a lot, okay? Let me say this. I do think he's better than Quinn Ewers. I do.
Right.
And he has 7 total touchdowns this year. Quinn has 8. I mean, just think about the playing time.
But he did it in garbage time against Colorado State and garbage time against UTSA, right? He didn't do it against Michigan. That was Ewers.
Yes, right. He's also thrown the ball 18 times.
Okay.
And he has 5 passing touchdowns. He's ran the ball 6 times. He has 2 rushing touchdowns. It's it's pretty efficient. You mentioned I don't know what they do because it's not like next week they play another Jabron team. Or UL Monroe. I didn't know it was UL Monroe. I apologize.
Major Booty. He's lighting it up. General Booty.
So he's going to go out there again, smash that team, right? And then it'll be Miss State.
Yeah, but then they have Georgia in their house October 12th.
But so let's just say Quinn Ewers is not going to play next week, right?
Right.
So Arch Manning should smash them. Then they host Mississippi State, who just got rolled by Toledo. Okay?
Yeah.
Then they hit a bye, and then it's Oklahoma.
It's got to be. Now, if he's not 100%, you can't roll Quinn Ewers out there with an abdominal strain or injury against the Red River rivalry.
Right.
I mean, who knows where Oklahoma is? If Oklahoma knocks off Tennessee, they could be undefeated. I mean, you have to put your best asset possible in that type of situation. If Quinn Ewers is 100%, he's starting against Oklahoma. There's no doubt in my mind.
Okay. Here's my only thing. As somebody who has bet against Texas as their best bet 2 weeks in a row,
I'll just tell you this right now.
Yeah.
I lost my UTSA bet the second Quinn Ewers got injured. He had already given me a pick, and then they let Arch Manning get in there and get comfortable, fast and loose. He was ripping.
And loose.
Ripping. Whoa. All right? Now, listen. The Arch Manning Heisman stuff, though.
Yes.
Listen, some people were drinking the Kool-Aid. The number's already tanked, down to 28-1. I think that's a bad bet. If you were holding the 100 to ones, awesome.
Yes.
Because he could get benched at any moment. Quinn Ewers is done in that race too, though. Now, it's through injuries. He's done in that race as well. That's where I'm at. Do you think either Texas quarterback can win the Heisman?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend gambling on it in any capacity. But that's me. You have to gamble at your own risk. But now you make up a great point because they have a quarterback conundrum right now. I think they still go back to yours. Is he 100%? He's going to take snaps away. But again, where's the Heisman moment right now? It's with yours in terms of Michigan.
Yeah.
If yours has it against Oklahoma and Georgia, maybe he could get back. But that's why I think they stick with yours. Right. Hang on. That's why I think they stick with yours over Manning. He's got the victory last year on the road in Tuscaloosa, got the victory on the road in the Big House.
Yep.
Manning doesn't have that yet.
No, but he hasn't.
He hasn't had the opportunity. Right. But if you're Sark, are you going to go with the guy that's done it against Georgia and Oklahoma, or are you going to go with the guy that comes with the 5 stars that hasn't done it in a big game up until this point?
Look, I think it's one of those. It's like a good problem. It's not, this Sark didn't want this.
No,
because again, they're playing you on Monroe.
Right.
Is there any way that he doesn't light them up? I mean, realistically,
they'll probably be 48-point favorites, and they might not cover.
And then that's it. Like, there's not a. You almost wish they were playing like maybe I honestly they should hope he plays Miss State, and then if he struggles relatively, that'll help. There's a million other college things I wanted to get to, so that's a shame. We just don't have enough time.
Notre Dame, Riley Leonard with a breakout performance.
No, I'll tell you this.
66 points.
No, I had 100 things I wanted to get to, and it didn't crack the top 100. Who cares? Who cares? I'll tell you this. We're hitting a break. We're coming back rapid fire. Things we'll get to. Georgia struggles, Danger Man Alex Orji, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Rookie of the Year, and Eagles Falcons, and maybe a baseball pick. Probably not. We'll be right back.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
All right, I'm overly fired up here. Casey Hudson on deck, Tom Vecchio, Dave Sharapan, Adam Kaufman. Crew's ready to roll. It's going to be a great pregame show. I know that for sure. Lisi, we got it. It feels like 30 seconds to hit 30 topics. Let's start here. Georgia, Kentucky, 13-12, Bulldogs win. How concerning? Bye week, Bama's on decks.
Not concerned at all. I think they you were expecting to be on life support or
I don't know.
the panic button?
The panic meter. Jets
off the charts. I was almost right with the Jets.
Yeah, but it's that calm.
That's
easy.
It. I talked about it on college football today. They struggle in Lexington. I think the bye week will be fine. I think once Milroe and that team come, I think they're going to be ready. And I expect a bounce-back performance. Carson Beck struggled. You want to get your Heisman Trophy out of the top guys? I think you jump in now on Carson Beck. Perfect opportunity.
I will say this. That spread was 3.5 look ahead down to 2.5. I'm going to end up doing it. 51, that total. Jalen Milroe, by the way, that kid's just a superstar, megastar. What are his odds to go first overall? Now we're talking. All right, the danger man. That's what I'm calling him until he proves me wrong. I got all I could have asked for. Alex Orji, the starting quarterback for Mission. Lisi, come on, tell me that they do not have the right guy now at quarterback.
Oh, they do. Now they could potentially utilize the RPO game. They might have a shot to potentially knock off USC. And I actually think they have a very good chance to run the football this week. I think they could be live. I think Alex Orji gives them an added dimension. And
spread's dropping.
I know it is. And think about it. 8.5 in the offseason. Michigan was favorite.
Really?
Wow. We've seen it balloon as high as 6.5 in favor of USC. When this line came out yesterday, it's been out for about almost 24 hours.
Yeah.
6.5 it got as high, too. Almost 7s.
Yeah.
Now with Orji, it's coming back down.
Danger man.
This
kid's got juice.
Nikki Treats and the Danger Man for Heisman.
Now I'm not betting any Heisman tickets.
Not yet.
Look, I'm just saying, this is the thing that gives them a chance.
Okay.
Davis Warren threw 3 picks last week against
Terrible.
Arkansas.
And they haven't covered. They're 0-3 against the number right now.
Yeah, they've not been. And by the way, though, it looked like they were going to run away with that game.
It did.
And Davis Warren, they were like, Davis, hey, get a rhythm, and he just could not. He could not. All right, pause college. Pro. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Caleb last night in prime time. Okay, so you blame Eberflus.
Yes.
I don't blame Eberflus.
Yeah.
Hold on. But the play calling,
yes.
I blame Shane Waldron.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing. First drive, 5 for 5, 55 yards, and it's truly like they went, all right, scrap all those plays from the playbook.
Yeah.
What a mess that game was post-first drive from Chicago.
And I said their offense looked better with Justin Fields last year right now.
No.
Come on. Justin Fields is a winner. The guy's putting up numbers.
Winner.
He's a winner.
7
wins with that team last year.
What is that?
7 wins.
7 wins you're bragging about.
Yeah,
they played 17 games.
Had nobody. DJ Moore. Where was Darnell Mooney? His number 2 was terrible.
Oh, my
Come on.
God. You always
let me just say this. Week 2? Week 2. I give you week 5. You'll be more on Eberflus than I will when that Caleb Williams rookie ticket goes down in flames. Jaden Daniels, best quarterback in this draft class. And oh, by the way, I have a dark horse. Brock Bowers, 30-1, down from 46-1. 98 yards could be Travis Kelce 2.0.
Look, Brock Bowers does look great. At the end of the day, Brian Thomas, I think, actually looked like the best rookie of the group. Marvin had the big game. His plus 320 is too short, though. He only finished with 4 catches. Malik Neighbors is a rock star. Too bad. The absolute worst quarterback that I've ever seen paid big money is his quarterback in Daniel Jones. What a disgrace to the beautiful state of New York he is. I'm not buying Xavier Worthy 17-1. Here's the thing with Jaden Daniels. The Commanders are garbage, and you will get Monday night next week against your Bengals. A lot for you to learn, pal.
Well, let me tell you, he's coming into the offense.
No, he's not.
226 yards. He's slowly getting acclimated.
He didn't score a touchdown against the Giants.
Can we clip this? He said Brian Thomas is the best wide receiver in the class. Neighbors is a rock star.
Yeah.
They're all LSU.
No. Neighbors, Thomas, and then they put Jaden on his back.
He's
stole a Heisman Trophy, and you know that.
You love LSU. Just admit it. You love LSU.
I love that team this year. Gutty win against South Carolina State of Columbia was on fire. Now, Monday Night Football, Rip through any picks you've made so far.
Dallas Goedert, 40+. I altered him up to 50. I think Jalen Hurts plus 110 to hit pay dirt tonight.
Love that.
And give me the Bijan receiving tonight.
Always the receiving.
Always the receiving. 30.5 receiving yards. I think he breaks out in a big way. He needs to be the main catalyst of that offense tonight.
I'm on the Hurts anytime touchdown. Devonta Smith over 72.5. The obvious answer, I think, is the right answer for who steps up without A.J. Brown. But I also took a shot on Jahan Dotson, 70+. Would have boosted that thing's up to almost 13-1. Favorite bet on the cards, Kirk Cousins over 224.5. Pouncing, bounce back spot for Kirk, despite it being primetime. I might bet that over. Let me get a flat 45, and we'll make it happen. Donnie Rightside will join us, but Casey Hudson leads the pregame show next year on SportsGrid.